Hey kid, you feeling any better? Guess what? Grandpa's here. He pinches my cheek.
Hey, how's the sick kid?
Alright, I'll leave you. Have fun.
I've got a special present for you. A book! When I was your age, my father used to read this book to me when I was sick, and his father before that.
What's it about?
The first deaf school opened in America.
Sounds boring!
It's not boring. It's got rich people, Europe, travel, scammers, Frenchmen, contracts, government, and education. What more can you want? It's a good book and we're gonna read it. Once upon a time, there was a rich surgeon named William Cogswell. He had a daughter named Alice, who he loved very much. She was deaf, and he wanted her to get educated, and did many things to do that. There were about 80 deaf people in Massachusetts, and their parents decided to get together to open a school for proper education. There was another man. His name was Thomas Hopkins Gallaudet. He was the oldest of 12 children. Went to Yale and graduated at 17 and was a minister. He was a very sickly man. He was so sick that he could never become a full-time priest. He lived in his family home next to Cogswell and spent time with Alice and managed to teach her a little, but didn't know enough. Cogswell was determined and had the money to send Gallaudet to Europe to learn the skills needed to educate the deaf, even though he was very ill.
Was he really always that sick?
Yes. Even though he was very ill and had self-doubts about his abilities, he went to London to meet the Braidwoods, who believed educating the deaf was exclusively a money-making endeavor. They wanted him to pay lots of money, stay for a number of years, and keep the methods top secret. Thomas Hopkins Gallaudet didn't like this and didn't go through with it. He met a man named Abbé Sicard from the Royal Institution of the Deaf in France. He was well received and was invited to an exhibition where Cary gave a lecture about deaf education. There was a panel where people could ask deaf graduates from the school questions, and they would answer using a chalkboard. The answer to "What is education?" was, "Education is care, which is taken to cultivate the minds of youth, to elevate their hearts, and to give them the knowledge of the science and of art that is necessary to teach them to conduct well in the world." In 1816, he went to Paris to the institution. He studied at the institution, but found that he was very homesick and still had his doubts about being qualified when he went back to America. He found Laurent Clerc, a 31-year-old man who graduated from the institution, then taught there. After making a contract that guaranteed his job security in every way in case the school failed, he got on a ship to America. The voyage took 1.5 months. They both worked on their skills, Gallaudet on his signing and Clerc on his written English. Clerc had never practiced spoken English as he had gone deaf at the age of 1 and had never developed his oral skills. Gallaudet was astounded that Laurent Clerc hadn't even been sick once.
Really? Why was he so sick all the time?
I'm not sure. Medicine wasn't good back then. Once they got to New York and back to Massachusetts, Alice and her father were very happy. Once back, they worked to get funding and public support for an institution. They traveled around to give lectures similar to the one Gallaudet had witnessed in London. After getting all the funding they needed, the school opened April 15th, 1817, and Alice attended. The end. Now I think you'd better go to sleep.
Okay. Grandpa,
Yes?
can you come over again and read it tomorrow?
Okay.